Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a very famous Speedway rider in American history. His name is Scott Brian Autrey. He raced 10 years Speedway, lots of times in England and Europe, and he was the first American world finalist since the late Ernie Rose show in 1952. Scott was born in 1953 and started racing flat track at Paris Speedway in 1964. Scott won the 100cc class Rosarita Grand Prix in Mexico. 1971, Scott raced road racing. In 1972, Scott was number 2 at the United States Speedway Championships at Costa Mesa. He was a natural. He went from nothing to like second in the United States. That's what you call a natural born Speedway rider. In 1972, the same year that he placed second in the championships in the United States, Scott went to England and went to Wembley World Final, and there he decided, I'm going to race Speedway full-time. In 1972, he went to England and said, that's it, I'm racing full-time now. Watch out, world. Scott Autrey is a full-time Speedway rider. Scott was so good that in 1973, the great late Ivan Major asked Scott to join the Exeter Falcons. And Scott agreed, and he was racing in Europe. Even though Scott is an American, he made his fame in the Speedway world racing in Europe. In 1974, Scott won his first British League title, racing for the Swindon Robins and the Poole Pirates. In 1976, Scott placed 9th in the World Final. And in 1978, he placed 3rd place. He was on the podium. In 1978, he finished 3rd place in the World Final and 11th place in the World Long Track Finals in Speedway. In 1980, he finished 2nd in the World Team Cup with legendary Bruce Penhall. Dennis Segalas and Bobby Schwartz. His last year of Speedway was in 1982, and he placed 1st. They won the World Cup Team Championship. He was on the championship team in 1982, and he retired after that competition. He retired on top. What did a fabulous rider like Scott Autrey do after Speedway? He went on to NASCAR. In 1985, Scott went on to race in the Winston West Series full-time. After Speedway and race cars, Scott moved to Midland, Texas, and became a rancher and a helicopter pilot. Scott currently works in the Texas court system as a videographer. His hobbies are reading and music. Scott still to this day connects with his friends at Facebook. I've chatted with Scott a couple times and he's a nice guy. He doesn't know me. He didn't accept my friend request, but he's a great guy and I really like Scott Autrey. The most underrated Speedway rider in probably American history. He's just not talked about. And Scott Autrey was just an amazing talent, amazing rider. Scott Autrey. Well, that's it. Scott Autrey, one famous American Speedway rider who made his fame in Europe as an American Speedway rider. He is so beloved in Europe and so many people remember Scott Autrey in Europe, probably more than America. So, Scott Autrey, we salute you. You're one hell of a racer.